With a wide array of countries across the Western world repudiating German equitable entitlement, a role had been formed to oppose these suppressants and make strides towards rebuilding German society as a world superpower. Repercussions from Nazi propaganda, which possessed the sole purpose of promoting the anti-Semitic views of Adolf Hitler, led to the success of the Nazi regime through the embedded messages of chauvinism and the censorship of foreign or anti-Nazi media. Through the utilization of his profound oratory skills, Adolf Hitler was able to manipulate the German people into following his regime's unorthodox propaganda, which aimed to embed messages of aggressive nationalism into its followers. This was primarily achieved through the promise of remedying the economic disparity which had plagued German society since the First World War, and furthermore the vilifying of the Jewish people, who as a general consensus were more wealthy than other Germans. Evidence of this curvaceous nature is able to be perceived in an image from the 1937 Eternal Jew exhibition held in Munich, as it depicts the individualism of the Jewish man, which contradicts the Nazi regime's messages of a people's community. It was images such as these which were utilized in order to alter the inclinations of the German people towards the Jewish culture, as propaganda became the instrument by which virtually every facet of German life was dictated. Professor Diane Cole further highlights this nationalistic mentality as she expresses, another theory, the psychology of the masses, explains group behavior in terms of group cohesion, feelings of superiority, and a decreased sense of individuality. Through these words, Cole is able to explain the actions of the German people in terms of a predisposition to obedience and an unwavering willingness to submit to an authority who persecutes a general class of people for merely being socio-economically advantaged. Even extreme anti-Semitic beliefs aren't enough to influence the average person to sit idly by as millions of people are tortured and killed. But if that person is surrounded by other like-minded individuals, the sense of independence dissipates as they lose responsibility for their actions.
Haben unsere Gegner dafür gesorgt, dass du Verbot und Verfolgungswellen.
In 1933, as the Nazis commenced their rule over Germany, their exploitative despotism spared no exertion in co-opting the nation's people, culture, and ideologies. In order to gain absolute compliance from the German people, the Nazi regime embarked on hindering the presence of any forms of anti-Nazi media from reaching their followers. This included radio, the most widespread form of entertainment at the time, books, and other texts which did not comply with the strict guidelines of the Nazi campaign. The significance of this censorship is able to be discerned through the words of Adolf Hitler himself, as he states, "As soon as by one's own propaganda even a glimpse of right on the other side is admitted, the cause for doubting one's own right is laid." This excerpt from Mein Kampf, the autobiography of Adolf Hitler, pays tribute to the extent of the censorship of foreign or anti-Nazi media, in that the leader of the Nazi Party himself identified the endangerment which could be present if any opposing views were received by the German people. This message is further corroborated in an article from the United States Holocaust Museum, which reads, "Schools also played an important role in spreading Nazi ideas. While some books were removed, other textbooks, newly written, were brought in to teach students blind obedience to the party, love for Hitler, and anti-Semitism." These words demonstrate the importance which was held in influencing the mindsets of both adults and children, as they were educated not only against anti-Nazi materials, but moreover additional texts were created in order to promote blind, unquestioning obedience to the Nazi Party. The support of the German citizens was imperative to the success of the Nazi Party, and whether these contravening messages were coming from within or from foreign media, it was pivotal to the longevity and overall prosperity of the Nazi Party that these messages were impeded. The Nazi Party had utilized media outlets and the educational system like no one before, as they were not only able to rally support for their cause and vilify the Jewish people, but furthermore had altered every aspect of German life, whether it be schooling, working, or entertainment. Through the employment of manipulative propaganda focused on subliminal nationalistic messages and the abolition of foreign or anti-Nazi media from all facets of German life, they had built an unmatched force which would prove to be one of the most dominant nations in recent history, Nazi Germany.